Welcome to Work It, Live It, Own It, where we trade survival mode for strategies that help you thrive in career, life, and everything in between. I'm your hostess, work-life harmony strategist, SaCola Lehr. If you're juggling work, kids, and caring for aging parents, you already know the drill. You try harder, push longer, and hope that things will eventually get better. But sometimes they don't. Today, we're unpacking something that looks positive on the surface, optimism, but can quietly drain your energy when it's misplaced. It's called misguided optimism. Misguided optimism, if you really think about it, is the belief that if you just work harder, others will notice. And it's the kind of thinking that keeps us overfunctioning, staying late to fix a system that's not ours to fix, taking on responsibilities that should be shared, or hoping your family will catch on when you're doing everything for everyone. At work, that might look like taking on extra projects, hoping leadership will finally recognize your dedication, but instead, they start expecting it. And at home, it could look like doing more chores, caregiving, and emotional labor while silently waiting for someone to notice you're exhausted. The truth is, we can't control other people. Our energy is limited, and trying to model what others should do doesn't create change. It creates burnout. Welcome back to Work It, Live It, Own It. It's so good to be here, and welcome to part 3 of the Suck It Up, Go It Alone series. And so I really want to dive into optimism and how it plays a role in our everyday lives. And so let me first start off by saying that if you've enjoyed this series so far, please leave me a review. Head on over to workitliveitownit.com and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you guys. Let's tackle first that optimism is a good thing. I don't want to dismiss optimism because it is great. Now, don't get me wrong. Optimism is not the enemy. Healthy optimism says, I can face challenges with hope and courage. On the other side, misguided optimism can say, if I just do more, things will change. Have you ever felt like that? You've got that healthy optimism, like I can I can face the world as long as I've got what I need by my side or within me. I have my own back. I can face these challenges. But then we also find ourselves saying, you know what? In order to fix something, to change a system, I have to do more. I have to affect the change, and then change will happen. And so there is a difference in that. So just to break it down even further, healthy optimism will empower you to act within your control, while misguided optimism will keep you acting beyond your limits, forcing you to overextend yourself. Now, sometimes this pattern can run deeper than just the mere, oh, this is good optimism or this is misguided optimism, because many of us learned as children that our worth is tied to being the helper, the responsible one, or the peacekeeper. Maybe you grew up in chaos and found safety by managing everyone else's emotions. Maybe you were praised for being strong, capable, or never asking for help. And that pattern followed you into adulthood. And that's how trauma quietly shapes our optimism and how we show up in our adult lives. We don't just believe things will get better. We believe we're responsible for making them better, even at our own expense and our own detriment. But the truth is that you're allowed to hope without overworking, to care without carrying it all, and to believe things can improve without sacrificing yourself to make it happen. Now, why is misguided optimism such a problem? Because some people will just kind of argue with me and say, well, somebody's got to stand up. Somebody's got to do something. Somebody's got to take action. Let's look at it from this scenario, okay? If you feel disappointed when your effort isn't recognized or matched, or you overextend because you hope things will improve even when there's no evidence they will, or you sacrifice your well-being in the name of change and end up influencing only your own exhaustion, that's when misguided optimism is a problem. So let's break this down and how we can even break this cycle down, because I want to give you some practical steps and takeaways here and things that I want you to think about. I want you to identify one area where you feel you may be overfunctioning. Matter of fact, you may even know you're overfunctioning in this, and it could be maybe you're fixing other people's mistakes at work. You're covering up for them just for the sake of reaching a deadline. Or maybe you're holding everything together at home while you're pretending that you're fine. When people ask you how you're doing, you say, I'm all right, I'm okay, I'm great, when you're really not. I want you to focus on what you can control. That's step 2. You can't control how others show up, but you can control what you take on. And you can gradually shift from thinking to yourself, your brain is going to automatically default to what you've been doing, from I have to fix this to I'll do my part and leave the rest. And no, that's hard for some of us control freaks and our high achievers or our independent thinkers that feel like if you want something done right, might as well do it yourself. Step 3, communicate your limits clearly. Guys, we're imperfect. We have limitations. No matter how much you may think you're Superman or Wonder Woman, we have our limitations. So I want you to communicate your limits clearly. So at work, it could look something like this. You could say, I could focus on this project, but I'll need support or reprioritization for the other task. Or you could say, I'm happy to set up this part, but this direction that goes out to everyone else and it really needs to come from you. I had to say something like that just recently, where they were trying to give me the complete ownership of something when it's really not my call. I can help implement, but it is not my place or my lane, basically, to take over and make sure that everyone complies with the guidelines. At home, you could say something, for example, I can handle this week. I can handle X this week, but I need help with Y. So I have time to recharge. Now, you may say these things that you don't always have to say them outwardly like that, or say, hey, I can handle this week, but I need you to handle that this week so I don't burn out. You don't have to over-explain. Only with those people that you really love and trust, and you feel safe and comfortable with expressing yourself that way. But you can just say, here's the part that I can handle, but I'm going to need support on this over here this week. Okay? Thanks for helping out. The fourth step, the final step, is release the need for others to change. This is a doozy. This is a big one, because we think that our relationships, we think that things will get better if this person would just do what we want them to do. If they just see things our way. If they just look at it from our perspective, then things will get better. Things will change. Things will improve. Matter of fact, they will see their life improve. No, that's not how life works. That's not how people work. We're controlling people. We don't want to be controlled. But in actuality, when we're doing that, when we're trying to will someone to do what we want them to do, we are controlling. And so we have to release the need for others to change. We either accept them for who they are and realize that, hey, some people won't change no matter what. They're content with what they're doing. So how do we combat this? We have to realize and think that our growth doesn't depend on their behavior. If their behavior doesn't align with our growth, that's perfectly okay. Does that mean you stop growing? Does that mean you stay stagnant, immovable? No. Who says that you can't grow because of other people's behavior and what they think and what they choose to do with their life? The second part to this is protecting your energy. This is leadership. This is your inner leadership. It's not selfishness. It's protecting your energy, which is leading you to growth, is leading you to affect a change for you, not the need to change for others. So just to recap on those practical steps on how to break the cycle of misguided optimism, I want you to identify one area where you're overfunctioning. I want you to focus on what you can control. Do your part, leave the rest. Third, communicate your limits clearly. If you want to focus on a particular project, and let's talk about reprioritizing other tasks at work, or I'll handle this here. If I cook dinner, can you wash the dishes? Thank you. Appreciate it. Step 4, release the need for others to change. That's going to be a big one, guys, because that's the work that we have to do within ourselves. It's going to show up, and we have to catch ourselves of wanting to change other people. So misguided optimism can keep us stuck in a cycle of overfunctioning and burnout. But true optimism, which is a good thing, the grounded kind, helps you build a life rooted in clarity, not exhaustion. So remember, trying harder isn't the answer. Setting boundaries, speaking your needs clearly, and focusing on what's truly yours to carry is where real change begins. And if you want a simple way to start reclaiming your energy, I'll encourage you to download the free Prone to Power worksheet. I'm going to leave that in the show notes below. It's going to walk you through 5 mindset shifts to help you stay persistent, to prioritize your needs, to rejuvenate, to get yourself organized, to navigate boundaries, and also, most importantly, stay empowered through your growth change. Grab it through the link in the show notes or in my link tree if you're on Instagram, and start shifting and trying harder to thrive smarter. So again, head over to Work It, Live It, Own It on Instagram. Click my link tree link there in the bio, or just simply click it here in the show notes and download your free copy today. The Prone framework is everything that I have done over the past decade to help me recalibrate and harmonize my life. Well, guys, that wraps up today's episode of Work It, Live It, Own It. Remember, thriving isn't about fixing everyone else. It's about protecting your energy so you can show up fully for your life, your work, and yourself.